Hi, it's April Fool's Day, and I just have an urgent need to tell my story. My name's Diane, and I'm not totally sure where to begin, but I'm going to start with the most immediate thing that prompted me to tell my story. It was May 20 of 2020, and I was watching HGTV, one of those home shows on how to fix up your place. I had a bit of a runny nose, but other than that, I felt pretty good. And it was 1:59 in the afternoon, and I was finished watching a show, and a new one started when all of a sudden I became violently, horribly ill. I thought that maybe I was having an intestinal blockage like I'd had in 2013 on August 12th, which was my first marriage anniversary, which is why I remember the date. But I knew within about 2 hours this was something very different. And after 2 hours of constant gagging and throwing up, I was able to kind of crawl my way to the bedroom and lay there in agony for 10 hours. Within about 4 hours, I knew this was probably COVID, and I really wondered if I was going to make it through the night. I'd gotten an AFib from my obstruction back in 2013, and my heart was under considerable strain on the day I was going through my COVID, what later became identified as a viral event. I felt like I was glass breaking. I was going in and out of hallucinations. And for about every minute for 10 hours, I was either throwing up or gagging. My head pounded. I had an incredible weight on my chest. I was shaking so badly I couldn't open my phone. Finally, in about the 8th hour, I did manage to open it, and the first number that came up was my neighbor down the way, and I called him, and he offered to come over and help me, but I told him not to come in, that I feared it was COVID, and I told him that if I didn't answer the door or my phone the next morning to call the police. I really thought I was going to die. It's kind of funny when you think about those moments when you may not survive. And I was in horrible agony, but the whole time I was going through this, all I could think about was my kids and grandkids and the thought that I didn't want them to hear that I died alone in my bed. I'd heard stories on the news about people they found dead who had died of COVID. And I thought, why didn't they call 911? Well, let me tell you, your body is in such agony and you're shaking so badly, you can't open your phone. You might not even be able to find your phone, which was the situation for me in the first couple of hours. I knew I brought it with me, but I didn't have the physical ability to look for it. So the story I'm going to tell you is a story of coping with COVID isolation, online dating, the Trump administration and election of 2020, and my efforts to survive alone in one of the most difficult years of my life. I'm actually a writer, but since COVID, I haven't been able to write. The brain fog has created tremendous anxiety, and the things that I was doing before I got COVID, making masks to give away, trying to get to play the piano again, writing, and trying to write a book, and taking a drawing class. I can't really do those things anymore. After maybe 10 minutes, the anxiety just overwhelms me. I suffer from attention deficit disorder, and that has become exacerbated since I've had COVID. So it's been a year of learning, try to cope with my own insecurities, my own frustrations and things I struggle with. I'm a well-educated lady. I got a PhD in education from Michigan State University. I've had a successful career that I loved. And despite this, I've had a lot of issues with self-esteem. This is also going to be the story of a woman who's trying to recoup her life. I was grossly overweight when I got COVID. And after I was able to spend some time with my kids, or my daughter and oldest boy, who were deeply worried about me, an incident happened that forced me to take a really stark look at where I was in my life. I was playing cards with my three oldest granddaughters, Annika, Kirsten, and Carden. We were playing canasta, and I was telling them about the moms in Portland and the fathers with leaf blowers and the naked Athena. And I was laughing so hard that when I took a drink of water, I started to choke. It went down the wrong way. And my oldest granddaughter, Annika, who's a real tough cookie, thought I was going to die. And she became really quite hysterical, crying, "Grandma, you can't die, you can't die." Her reaction prompted the second girl, Kirsten, to also start crying. And Carden began laughing sort of hysterically. That was her way of coping. I realized at that moment that I really had to take care of my issues, at least the one about weight, because of my grandchildren. I love them and I want to see them grow up. I also knew, after being alone that night with COVID and the ongoing nightmares that I suffered from, that I didn't want to be alone anymore. And I had discovered that a good place to go when you're in the middle of a nightmare you can't get out of, and you don't want to call your children, nor do you want to call friends if you want to keep them to call them at 2 a.m. I remembered that there's a place where people are always online and ready to chat, and that's dating sites. So I signed up. My intention was not to meet anyone. It was just to find someone to talk to keep me from doing something stupid when I was terrified by the dream I was experiencing. The nightmare, not a dream, the nightmare. So I got on a dating site, and eventually I realized, hey, maybe I do want to have someone in my life. Even though I was happy and content prior to COVID, post-COVID, I wasn't that content. I wanted something more in my life. So the story I'm going to share with you in my videos that I post on YouTube is about isolation during COVID, my experience using Noom to lose weight, my experiences with online dating, the scams, the players, the tools to help you, and basically the story of finding Diane again. So my name is Diane Prouty. Well, my full name is Diane Kathleen Van Bell Prouty. I'm known as Kathy online, and I'm going to tell you the story of finding myself and the man I fell in love with. So I hope that you subscribe to my channel. I hope to post a video every day or so, and hopefully we can all learn how to navigate life a little better by my sharing my own ups and downs of being a 70-year-old grandma of 10 ready to face the world of internet dating. See you later.